All right, everyone. Hello and welcome. This is my second time recording. So if you want the original will be on my Patreon, where patrons get access to the live recording before I, polish it up a little bit and upload it to YouTube. But when I went to go upload it to YouTube, for whatever reason, it didn't save my video. And I'm like, bitch, we need the slides. Like, hello, we are visual peoples. I need you to see the cards. This is not okay. So I'm I'm re-recording for everyone on YouTube. You're welcome. But whew, yes, let's take a breath. Let's take a little breath, shall we? And let's be honest. Someone out there in the coven knows the old ways, as you should, but hasn't tended them. The earth remembers your hands. The spirits are waiting. The cards showed me what happens when practice is postponed way too long, my friends. And I want to be like, doing this, I get this little sort of like little anxiety, but not in a bad way. Just kind of excited because I want to share something that's going to be beneficial. And when I sit down to do these, I do so to to focus on your problems or our problems collectively, I guess. Well, to be honest, this isn't a daily collective reading. This is not reassurance tarot. This is where I pull cards for the problems that really you haven't named yet. The quiet ones, the slow ones, the ones that don't look like emergencies until they are. So, let's see what needs to be said. All right. My name is Michael Blackthorn. I've been reading tarot since I was a little bitch. Very young, 10. Yes. And I've learned to trust what the cards show me before it shows up in real life. The vexations, the problems no one's talking about yet, the crossroads where witches get stuck. This is Vexxed. Cards for the Coven. Because I care. I care about you. I care about us witches, us witch friends, I pull cards for struggles you haven't named. Your crossroads, my reading. So let's see what needs to be said. Let us see what needs to be said, my friends. So the vexation, and we're working with Tarot Chimera. I'm really loving this deck. It is beautiful. Don't base your judgment on my terrible pictures of the cards. It is a beautiful deck. The book is gorgeous. Like it reads so nice. So nice. So the vexation, the situation is the Knight of Pentacles. So someone out there listening to this has been telling themselves they're being patient when really they've just gone quiet. You've convinced yourself that slow and steady means not moving at all, that waiting is wisdom, that eventually you'll feel ready again, that your practice will come back when things settle down. But here's the thing, my friends. The Knight of Pentacles isn't idle. This is someone who has trained, someone who has forged discipline through repetition, ritual, and devotion to the long road. And right now, the vexation is this. You know what you're capable of, but you're not practicing it. You're not making your offerings. You're not tending your rituals. You're not maintaining your daily or weekly praxis. Not because you don't believe, but because you've drifted into maintenance mode instead of devotion. This night, this night has spent time with the Fae. They've learned the old ways, seasonal cycles, foraging, tending land, honoring ancestors, making pacts, building tools, strengthening the body, sharpening instinct. And yet, the horse hasn't moved. The horse hasn't moved, my friends. So the vexation isn't lack of power. It is not lack of power. Hear that. The vexation is unapplied power. Unapplied power. What does that say to you? You've been waiting for a sign when what you actually need is a kick in the fucking ass. Well, actually, my notes. I what you actually need is a routine. Okay? Let's be honest. So that's the vexation, what we're working with. What you're not seeing, the tower. The tower. What you're not seeing. And here's the part you already know, but don't want to admit. Something has to end. Something has to die. And I don't mean dramatically, though if you keep avoiding this, the possibility for it to get dramatic will intensify, right? So it definitely can get dramatic on its own if you keep prolonging and you're avoiding. And I think that happens a lot with people. That's our association with the tower is because people don't want to deal with life or deal with the very real problems that we have. And so we put it off and we put it off and we put it off. And then it's like, fuck, here we are. And then people are like, oh, it's the tower. Yeah, bitch, because we haven't listened to shit and we're not doing shit and we ain't about shit. So, yes, it gets dramatic because the gods are like, pay the fuck attention, friend. No? Okay, well, let me smite you a little bit. A little spanky spank. Um, the tower shows up here, again, not as punishment, but as inevitability. You've outgrown the version of yourself that built your current spiritual structure. And that structure, your habits, your beliefs, your daily rhythms, it can't hold you anymore. You keep thinking you can gently step around the collapse, but you really can't. Spirit has been nudging you quietly at first, subtly, through discomfort, through disinterest, through that sense that your practice feels hollow or mechanical. And because you haven't acted, pressure has been building. The tower says, if you don't choose the ending, it will be chosen for you. This isn't about fear. This is about just being real. It's about honesty. You already know what has to go. You already know what's outdated. You already know what's no longer aligned. You're just hoping, truly hoping, you can avoid the grief of letting it fall. But it's important. This is so important. Things have to end. We can't keep things the same way, all the time, unfortunately. What's actually happening? The Ace of Pentacles. And I absolutely love this card. So here's the part that changes everything. This isn't loss for the sake of loss. What's actually happening is that Spirit is trying to place something real and sustaining into your hands, but your hands are still full of old bullshit, old forms. The Ace of Pentacles is the new beginning that works, not a fantasy, not a vision board, something tangible, something livable, something embodied. Your magic is trying to ground itself again, not in constant initiation, not in endless consumption, but in a simple, consistent physical practice. This is the return to daily offerings, seasonal observances, repetition, touching the earth, feeding your body, honoring your dead, keeping promises to yourself. The tower clears the rubble. The ace plants the seed, and the seed is asking for stewardship, not intensity. You don't need more knowledge. You need structure that you can sustain, you know? And I like this because it's like what is actually happening is like, look, the Ace of Pentacles is a beautiful and rewarding card, and it has so much opportunity here. But we have to let things die. We have to allow death to happen, allow this cycle to be done, allow it to go back into the void, right? So that we can be reborn, so that our lives can start focusing on the newness, so we can start building again and from a different standpoint, from a better standpoint. The Ace of Pentacles is like, look, there's so much joy here. There's so much opportunity for us here, but we have to let things go. We cannot take them with us. Now, what happens if you don't listen? What happens if you don't listen? The Four of Pentacles. I kind of really appreciate the depiction of this Four of Pentacles. It's kind of it encapsulates the card really, really well, I feel. For me anyways. If you ignore this, the risk isn't chaos. It's something I feel is far worse. It's stagnation, right? So if you ignore this, the risk is stagnation. The Four of Pentacles shows someone clutching what they have so tightly that it stops circulating. And in a spiritual sense, that looks like this: hoarding ideas, but never practicing them, guarding your power instead of using it, staying safe instead of engaged, watching from the outside instead of participating, or even just collecting titles, collecting degrees, collecting initiations, but not actually doing anything with, right? You start telling yourself you'll learn more and you'll return to your craft someday. You start identifying as a, this is one of my huge fucking pet peeves. You start identifying as a witch instead of living as one. You're like, well, mind your business. Why do you care? I care. I care. I do. It's problematic to identify as witch but not actually be witch, you know? It's extremely problematic, and that's where we're at right now in this collective, in this reality in which we're all part of. We see so many witches who don't know anything about witchcraft. They just think it's the law of attraction. They think it's manifestation. They think it's affirmations. They think it's looking in the mirror and journal prompts and shit like that. And they don't understand the raising of energy, the directing, the manipulation of energy, and they don't understand the foundation of craft. And that's why it matters. So again, you start identifying as witch instead of living as one. And slowly, what you're protecting begins to own you. Your practice becomes a relic instead of a relationship. And that's when bitterness creeps in. Comparison, distance, the feeling of being on the outside looking in while everyone else seems connected, activated, and alive. Not because you aren't capable, but because you never opened the box. So what happens if you don't listen is you stagnate, you rot, and it's not fun, right? And so here's what I'll leave you with. You don't need to blow your life up. You don't need to reinvent your entire path. You need to choose a rhythm and keep it. One offering, one daily act, one weekly ritual, one promise you actually honor. Start small. Don't try to add so many different things in. Just start with the one thing. Okay? Let the old structure fall deliberately. Let it fall on purpose. Make space and plant something real moving forward. And remember, this work doesn't belong to me. I'm here to help you see the crossroads. You decide which road to walk. I'm not here to take your agency from you. I'm here to simply put out there what these cards are expressing, and it is up to you to take your power back and do with it what you will. Again, if this reading found you and you felt that quiet yes in your body, trust that. If this was yours, you already know. If you found yourself in a situation that, like, yeah, this speaks to me, please comment. Let me know. Let me know. And if it doesn't speak to you, but like you can like relate, like, yeah, I've been there. I'm not currently there, but I've been there. Maybe share your thoughts and ideas on how to work through something like this. What helped you get back that momentum of practice, right? What inspired you? What would you share to your past self or to someone new who needs help that are in that situation, right? So yeah. Yeah. And y'all, this is my like second time recording this, so hopefully I don't have to do it a third time. But I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you're enjoying Vexxed cards for the Coven. Let me know if you do. I'll keep doing them. We're gonna try and do these like every Wednesday. I think one a week is fine. I don't think we need to do too much. Find me on patreon.com/Michael Blackthorn. Patreon.com/Michael Blackthorn. if you want to attend these live when I do them, or if you want the potential to experience them live when I do them, you can find me on Threads. You can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me everywhere, honestly. But I do encourage you, like, if you find if you find me, say hello, engage with me, comment on my stuff. Really engage with me because I enjoy talking with y'all, and it helps me. It helps the business. It helps me grow. Like when you engage, like actually engage, it helps a lot. So yeah, thank you so much, and I wish you all well and enough. And I will talk to you. I will talk to you soon. Take care.